The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
You have got to get up pretty early to go do something. We are the alternative Digitalk. With our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
We President Museveni wadde juzi namulaba apima akawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bwaba alya kilo 5 oyannema okuliisa eggwanga ne bwe limundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the alternative Digitalk etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugendo maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop and smart TVs as we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the alternative Digitalk. How you beautiful Ugandans, it's your girl Sisto. Welcome to the fancy floor. Who doesn't see my hair, guys? I am super glamorous. Remember, this is the only show where we're going to be talking about fashion.
Please, where are you think? Teaching.
What has been confusing you about fashion? Sorry, you said I should not smile. For all the information about fashion, maintenance of body shape.
I can wear bling bling when I'm going out. So you can wear bling bling going out or any occasion.
We shall be doing all this in the fancy floor. Remember, it airs every Thursday right from 8:30 to 9 with your girl Sisto. It is the fancy floor.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Yes, good morning and warm welcome to Digitalk TV. My name is Mathew Karuhanga. It is the 26th day of July 2022. We are coming towards the end of the year, not only the year, but the month, right, ladies and gentlemen? We are in the last quarter of the year. That means we are remaining with August, September, October, November, and December to end 2022. The question is, or the rhetoric would be, what are you doing? What have you done? Are there some achievements you've registered over the 7 months of the year, or you are still maybe being complacent here and there, or it has not been working out for you? I pray it does work out for you today. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me welcome you to this edition of the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Mathew Karuhanga, and on behalf of Digitalk TV and the Alternative Uganda, allow me to tell you thank you so much for always tuning in every Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We're always here serving Uganda and changing or redefining the social media narrative in this country. As we're speaking, excuse me, a lot of news stories are going around the country and Uganda in particular, and of course around the globe. As we're speaking, Norbert Mao is the Minister for Constitutional Affairs and Justice right here in the country. That comes at no surprise for everyone who's listening to me. I know right about now you should be knowing that Norbert Mao, the DP president, is actually the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs right here in Kampala capital, in Uganda's capital, Kampala. And of course, we have a couple of news stories coming in from, the increase from around the country and all over the globe. We have 30 people who died in the modern coast bus accident yesterday around Kenya. Many people have, succumbed. I think 30 have been feared dead in that particular accident. I'll be giving you the details. And of course, a gang leader, there's a gang deal gone rogue. Yesterday, a leader of a gang was decapitated in Nansana. Decapitating is actually a cutting off someone's head. So one person would die actually by decapitation. So I will be giving you that and much more stories. Today, we have an interesting discussion. We're talking about the state of affairs in Karamoja. Karamoja is a region in the northeastern part of Uganda, and where people dubbed as the Karamojongs hail from. But from the recent past, a lot of things have been happening in this region, starting from the food insecurity there. Yes, the food crisis and famine that is ravaging the people of Karamoja. At least 518,000 people have been feared to be at the risk of starvation in this particular area. What can we do? Or what is the government actually doing to save this region? Still in the region, a lot of insecurity is happening right there. We have many people who have died at the hands of the security operatives, and maybe we want to find out what is actually going to be done or what should be done by the different stakeholders to make sure that Karamoja becomes a peaceful and safe place that will ensure that people economically thrive and build capacity in order to also be competitive in Uganda and maybe raise resources from that particular area. And of course, this area has been known to be an area that has a lot of mineral wealth. Some people say there are a lot of gold deposits in that area. What can we do about Karamoja to bring, to foster harmony and peace in that particular region? And to speak on that discussion, I have Mr. Charles Donaldson Ogira, who is the founder of the founder and the team lead at Youth Forum for Social Justice and the Karamoja Converse Series. I also have the legislator from that region, Napak district, that is the woman MP Faith Nakut, Honorable Faith Nakut, from the National Resistance Movement. She's going to be joining me in that particular discussion. And of course, we shall have Sisto Rwot Omio, who is the co-founder of Karamoja Converse Series, a tech platform that is advocating for, Karamoja region and, the problems that are ravaging that area. That is the conversation today that we're going to have. And allow me say, ladies and gentlemen, do not touch your dial, do not move a muscle or a bit, because we are going to be having this discussion up to 9 a.m. You can send us the questions that you want us to ask the legislator and the different people from Karamoja to maybe paint more picture of what is, paint a better picture of what is actually happening in this particular area. Thank you so much for whoever who's tuned in from wherever you're tuning in from. Now let's go into the news stories today. First, as I told you, 30 people have been feared dead in a modern coast bus. That bus that drives from Nairobi straight to Uganda, Kampala. 30 people yesterday were maybe, speculated to have died in this particular tragic accident, where a bus that was coming from Nairobi crossing to Uganda actually got an accident around Mount Kenya, and at least a bus, and this particular bus actually fell in a river. Now, according to various sources from Kenya, 30 people have been feared to have died in this particular accident, and of course, many have registered injuries in that regard. So we continue to pray for the souls of those that actually passed on, and hope that may they rest actually in peace. That is a sad story coming in from Kenya, and of course, a modern coast bus in Kenya and Uganda. This bus that traverses the East African region, starting from Mombasa through Nairobi, then through Busia to Kampala. So unfortunately, a modern coast bus actually got an accident yesterday. Now, this comes after various accidents have been registered in Uganda. I remember the police report showed that 89 people died per day due to road accidents, and this has been due to reckless driving, driving while you are intoxicated, and of course reckless and irresponsible driving from the different drivers. So let's be cautious while we're driving along the roads in Uganda and of course the rest of the world. Let's just be more careful at the end of the day, because we do not want to lose people just like that. Now, in another story, hunger, in fact, a headline was published yesterday by the Daily Monitor that hunger kills over 900 in Karamoja. So we want to find out what is this actually factual, or is it an overstatement, or is it actually an understatement? But according to one of Uganda's biggest news outlets, over 900 people have been ravaged by famine that is happening in Karamoja right about now. That is one of the reasons why we are going to be having this discussion today, to find out really how do we find a genuine solution, not just doing politics and politicking about the lives of many Karamojans in that region. And it feels like Karamoja region has been a region that has been neglected by the state over time. It feels like the only time we go to Karamoja is when we are bringing challenges or fighting challenges that are there. But normally we do not go there to help people in terms of income creation, in terms of poverty eradication, but more of mitigating some challenges that we have as a state. So maybe we're going to find out, is this actually a right statistic that over 900 Karamojangs have died due to starvation in that area? Remember, the government earlier on took a bit of food relief in that particular area. Over 253 metric tons of posho and beans were actually taken in that area to help the people fight the challenge of poverty and famine that is ravaging that part of the region. Now, famine is not only ravaging Karamoja sub-region, but the rest of the world. We are seeing a lot of crises in terms of famine in different parts of Uganda, in different parts of Africa, and of course the rest of the world. Remember, in Europe we have dry spells that are as high as 30 degrees Celsius, and many people are feeling the heat. And this has been this has been registered as a challenge that is happening all over the globe, and many people from various parts of the globe are facing this particular crisis, starting from Europe to Asia to South America to North America, and of course to Africa. We are feeling the heat at the end of the day. Now let's cross over and come here to Nansa now, where a gang leader dubbed Mr. Erias Kabanda, or known as Mr. Erias Kabanda, was actually decapitated yesterday. According to Fred Enanga, the spokesperson of the Uganda Police Force, Mr. Erias Kabanda and his mates actually had a challenge, or they had a feud between both of them that saw this gang leader being decapitated. Now, the police that was on scene was the one where the policemen that were on scene were the ones who actually identified him, because they have arrested Mr. Erias Kabanda over time, and he has been released on bond, and maybe sometimes gets bail and gets out of prison. Now, Mr. Erias Kabanda, who is a gang leader in Nansana, a gang that has been terrorizing various people in that region, has been found dead and decapitated in Nansana. And it is feared that a deal went wrong. I think there was a misunderstanding between Mr. Erias Kabanda and his teammates, which led to his dubious death, and a death that is really, really not a beautiful death at the end of the day. Now, let me go through what is happening in the country. Did you know that Ugandans are on strike? Or at least there is an assertion that there are many people who are striking by staying at home and closing down their shops. I've not seen shops that are being locked, but I think in some other areas where I haven't been, there are various shops that have been, closed by the people who believe that they are holding peaceful protests, because this comes after many people have been barred from protesting and demonstrating on the streets of Kampala, and many have decided to stay at home and make sure that they have their own lockdown, to make sure that the government can remember that people are going through a lot. Remember, the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, came out earlier last week to inform Ugandans that there is nothing that they are going to be doing as the government in terms of reducing taxes and tariffs from Ugandans in order to save them from the impending crisis that is happening. He said that every Ugandan should know that these are uncertain times, and that means if there are uncertain times, we live in uncertainty, or we live in methods of uncertainty. So that is one of the remarks that President Yoweri Kaguta made in his State of the Nation address that happened last week. Now, many Ugandans have said that the president should be actually doing more instead of just telling Ugandans to find their way through the economic hardship that is ravaging the country. As we're speaking, food prices continue to soar in Uganda. Fuel prices are as high as 6,600 Uganda shillings, which is a number that has not been registered. We don't even know what will happen after the Kenyan elections that are happening next month, August 9th. So we wonder, what is the government doing in terms of preventing Ugandans from feeling this tight pinch of the economic hardship that is not only here in Uganda, but also in the rest of the world. Now let's finish with a story that is happening in Soroti East by-elections. Now, Soroti East is having a twist of events. In fact, not a twist of events. In just 2 days from now, they are going to be going down to the polls to see who is going to be their next legislator. Now, the NRM chairperson or President General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was in that area yesterday campaigning for Herbert Ariko, who is the legislator standing on the NRM ticket for the Soroti East elections that are happening, or that are due to happen on the 28th of this month. That means in 2 days, and in 2 days from now, the people of Soroti are going to be going down to the polls. Even retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye, who was actually barred from entering Soroti East, found his way mischievously to that particular region, and he was looking for votes for the FDC candidate, who is Mr. Moses Atan, and who is standing on the FDC ticket, who was in that particular, who had won the seat for that particular region before. So we are going to see what is going to happen. Will NRM take it, or will FDC take it? This comes at a time that NUP, or National Unity Platform, did not flag any candidate to be their flag bearer in the Soroti East constituency, saying that they are running behind the FDC candidate Moses Atan, though not any candidate of the National Unity Platform has come out to publicly campaign for FDC, flag bearer Moses Atan. So let's wait and see what it will be happening on the 28th. We'll be giving you the news as they unfold, or as it unfolds from that particular region. Now, this goes to the people who enjoy, movies and fiction. Wakanda returns. Wakanda Forever returns in a brand new style. Remember, Wakanda was last published in 2018. Yeah, that's when Wakanda, or the Black Panther movie, was actually selling in Uganda. After that, 4 years down the road, in fact 2 years down the road, that was in 2020, the main protagonist or character in this particular movie, who is dubbed as Boseman, Chadwick Boseman, actually passed on due to colon cancer in 2020, and many people had feared that the movie may not premiere again due to the fact that the protagonist, or the main character, Mr. Chadwick Boseman, had died due to colon cancer in the United States. Now, they return in another new story featuring T'Challa, featuring Lupita Nyong'o, and various stars from the movie fraternity. So it's going to be out this November for the movie people who like to watch movies. Wakanda Forever is back, bigger and better. Now, in this particular story, we see the fictitious Wakanda country that comes from Africa, a country that has been known to have a lot of powers, taking on another country of the Atlantis. Now, Atlantis is a city that is maybe fictitiously created to mean that it sank in the water. So there is a feud between Wakanda and Atlantis, a war that we'll see who will be taking it. So don't miss that premiere of that movie in all cinemas in Uganda. That will be premiering November 2022. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever will be the movie that you should watch out for. Now, it's 25 minutes past the top of the hour. It's time for me to go for a break, because our guests are already in studio, and we're going to be talking about what is happening in Karamoja, the state of Karamoja affairs. That is the discussion that is going to be happening up to 9 a.m. Feel free to make a comment, ask any question. You will be able to call in live in the next hour and just ask the different people or the different panelists that will be right here with me up to 9 a.m. Ask them any question. We need to find out what is happening in Karamoja. My name is Mathew Karuhanga. Let's go for a short commercial break. When we come back, the Mighty Drive starts right away. Good morning.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
How are you beautiful Ugandans? It's your girl Sisto. Welcome to the fancy flow. Who doesn't see my hair, guys? I am super glamorous. Remember, this is the only show where we're going to be talking about fashion.
Please, where you think? Teaching.
What has been confusing you about fashion? Sorry, you said I should not smile. For all the information about fashion, maintenance of body shape,
I can wear bling bling when I'm going out. So you can wear bling bling going out or any occasion.
we shall be doing all this in the fancy flow. Remember, it airs every Thursday right from 8:30 to 9 with your girl Sisto. It is the fancy flow. You have got to get up pretty early to go do something. We are the Alternative Digitalk. With our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
President Museveni wadde juzi namulaba apima akawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bwaba alya kilo 5 oyannema okuliisa eggwanga ne bwe limundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the Alternative Digitalk etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugende mu maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop and smart TVs as we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the Alternative Digitalk.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
You have got to get up pretty early to go do something. We are the Alternative Digitalk. With our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
President Museveni wadde juzi namulaba apima akawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bw'aba alya kilo 5 weyannema okuliisa eggwanga ne bwe limundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the alternative Digitalk etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugende mu maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop, and smart TVs. As we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the Alternative Digitalk.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still watching the Mighty Drive show. My name is Mathew Karuhanga and this is Digitalk TV. 32 minutes past the top of the hour. As we promised you, our guests are already in studios here to talk about what is happening in Karamoja, the state of Karamoja today, right about now. An area, as I told you earlier on the show, that is being ravaged by starvation. Over 518,000 people are at risk of starving in that particular region. Yesterday, the Daily Monitor published a headline that was saying 900 people have died due to famine in this particular area. Now, not only famine is ravaging the Karamoja region, but also challenges of insecurity, cattle rustling, and various other challenges that are, in this particular area. It feels that it is not an area that has really been amplified, and not many people really know the facts of what is happening in that particular area. It is in that regard that I have 3 guests in studios. One who is the Honorable Member of Napak District, the woman Member of Parliament for Napak District, Miss Faith, Honorable Faith Nakut. She is right here with me in studios. And also Charles Donaldson Ogira, who is the co-founder who's the founder Karamoja Series, and also a team leader at Youth Forum for Justice. That is Mr. Charles Donaldson Ogira. And of course, Sisto Rwot Omio, who is the co-founder of Karamoja Converse Series. These gentlemen and lady are going to help us find out what is happening and maybe draw solutions in their regard. What do they think? How can we help this particular region? You're welcome, all of you. Thank you. In your various capacities. Honorable, I'm going to first start with Honorable because of time, you're not going to be able to finish the show with us due to other engagements, which is really okay. But we want to find out from you, generally, how are you and how are the people of Napak?
I am fine. The people of Napak are managing. We are all managing the situation together. Okay. Of course, it is really unfortunate that we got ourselves into a state where we are lacking food or looking for food or begging for food at such a time. It is really unfortunate. Okay. Yesterday, there was a very unfortunate incident in Napak.
Okay.
A woman died minutes too when the distribution team were bringing food that a certain partner had donated. So she just passed on. Before the food had arrived? Even if the food had arrived, there was no way she would survive now. Before the food had arrived, those people met. At the time the people arrived is the time she died. That is the most unfortunate thing. So the people of Napak are in shock that they were unable to rescue when food arrived and the woman died. They buried her yesterday. So may her soul rest in peace. Lomongin Maria. It's not just the situation in Napak alone, it is the situation in the entire Karamoja. Yes, we made our outcry last week and government ran round individuals ran round about looking for food and sending assistance to the people who could get. But
okay, before you delve into the discussion, Honorable, I really want you to paint a picture of where we came from to reach this point, where someone can just break down and just die due to starvation. Yet we are in the food hub of Africa. We are called the food basket of Africa. How did we reach this point of people just breaking and dying due to hunger?
Well, we shouldn't be surprised because it's not the first time a famine of this kind is happening in Uganda.
Okay.
It's not the first time.
Yeah.
We had a famine in 1980-81. It killed many people, not only the people of Karamoja, many Ugandans.
Okay.
It was a result of two things, a result of drought and of political instability. 79, the government was taken over.
Yes, yes.
So the production was disrupted by two things.
Yeah.
There was a drought and political instability.
Yeah.
Now, Ugandans can manage one disaster at a time. When two strike at a go, you know people are going to die. We are unable to cope. That happened in 1980-81. 1990, 1991, 92, we had a relapse of a similar thing. Fortunately, this time, it was only a drought.
There was no political instability.
There was no political instability, there was no locusts, there was no COVID-19. It was only a drought. So, we managed through. Those of you who are alive, you know, we survived narrowly. 91. Food was transported from other parts of the country to be sold in other parts of the country. That's how people survived. The number of deaths were not as many as those who died in the percentage of those who died in 1981. Now, in the case of Karamoja again, we suffered in 2007 and 8, but that one was strictly a disruption caused by the disarmament exercise.
That was happening by that time.
Yes, that was happening in Karamoja.
Yes.
It was not a drought. It was a disarmament exercise where we saw some livestock getting bombed. So the people who relied on their cow for a livelihood suffered that hunger. It wasn't broad. The country did not feel in the way we have felt. From that time, Karamoja has been feeding itself up to now. Now this one is a combination of many things. We had a flood sometime last year. In May last year, we had a flood. In Karamoja, usually, when we grow food, we keep that food for a whole year. That food must feed us up to the next harvest.
Oh, okay.
So the moment there is a disruption, we had a flood, we had locusts, and then we were just coming out from COVID-19.
COVID-19, lockdown and everything.
Yes. And then we've had armyworm, as people were struggling to put in their crops in February this year. We had worms clearing the garden. That disruption is way too much to contain.
There's one you have forgotten, Honorable.
Insecurity.
Insecurity as well.
That one is the mother of them all. I have not forgotten. That is the mother of them all.
Okay.
Because then when they remove your livestock, when criminals remove your livestock, and yet that's the only buffer, that's your bank.
Yeah.
You have no option. When they rob your bank, when criminals rob your bank, what do? You have nothing to sell. When your assets, you can be broke. It's acceptable to be broke. But when you have something to fall back to, you have something to sell. So insecurity made it difficult, even for crop farmers, to be in their gardens. We have a green belt where people grow crops. Of course, you know the kind of agriculture we do in our country, where we rely heavily on nature.
Yes.
And by the most resilient people in Uganda are crop farmers. You cultivate, make a loss on your seed, make a loss on the money you've used for hiring a tractor, for labor, for what?
Everything.
You harvest half or zero. The next year they will cultivate again. Hey, they are resilient. So we had all those disruptions. That's why this kind of starvation or famine has come with the many, many reasons. Now, when I first saw the topic, I said, oh my God, this topic is rather a difficult one because rich but robbed. And I asked myself, who has robbed? I told Donaldson, no, tell them to rephrase the topic. Because if we say robbed, then we must identify the robber. And if by any chance the robber is alive, we will then force the robber into self-defense and we will sabotage everybody. We will not get a solution. Yeah. So
because we are already biased at the start of the discussion.
We are already biased.
Yes.
So it makes it difficult. But then it gave me a breakdown of the areas we should discuss.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, it is something we can discuss.
Okay.
The state of Karamoja today, yes, we are in that the state of despair, need for urgent need for food, emergency. But it's not us alone. A number of people in Uganda, in other regions, are equally starving. But, of course, there is what we call keeping the outside orderly. Keeping the outside orderly, you don't want to scream loud because you will wonder, how can you be starving in such a place? There are a number of people who are quiet, but they are in a similar state that Karamoja is in.
They're feeling the pain.
They are feeling the pain because the statistics show the study done by the IPC report, which the Office of the Prime Minister also co-authored, indicates that many Ugandans are exposed to food insecurity.
Yes.
But we have seen deaths in Karamoja, and that's why we cannot go silent. We have seen deaths which have not been witnessed in other places. We would have contained it if nobody had died. At least we don't expect a Ugandan to die of starvation.
Yeah, it is the least we expect. And maybe to just add on that, we have been having this famine, as you've said, from the 1980 to 1991, 2007, we had the same challenge. As government, don't you think we should have prepared better for this particular scenario? Because we knew that one time it may come back. It has been something that has been happening over time. Don't you think maybe there are some mitigating structures that we should have put in place or that should be already in place helping to guide our people at the end of the day? Aren't we also to blame to some extent?
I agree we should have prepared, but there is preparing when you already know the cause. But like I have already told you, the kind of famine over the years, it has been changing in terms of its main cause. I've told you the one for 1980 was different.
The different dynamics
every famine is different. Now, the next famine, if it comes, might be more different. If we survive this one, the next one might show up through something else. So what is important is to be quick at responding and to be quick at planning. That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
So, but of course, we cannot compare the Karamoja of 1900 with the Karamoja of today. A number of things have changed over time. A number of things. The way they set up, the way people live, the way our communities shared resources is different now than it was before. Before, the death, like famine, would strike, people die. By the time people die, you know that the community has tried their best. They have supported you, you have shared all the reserves together, and then we die together. And that's why the numbers that died in 1980 were more. Because the people supported. There were community support systems, which have been eroded over time. Now we have grown into The more civilization, unfortunately, the more civilization comes in, the more people become civilized, embrace education, the more they become individualistic.
Yeah, which is really, really true.
So that is the problem with this current crisis.
The communal spirit is no longer there because people identify as individuals instead of identifying as communities.
Yes. When people identify as individuals than as a community, then support system becomes really difficult. We're having a problem of inequality in Uganda. It's not only a Karamoja thing. We're having a problem of inequality where those who have really have it. Those who don't have can die in your neighborhood. That's why when the Honorable Nseroko was saying, how can you die when you have cows? That is stupid. You have a mindset problem. I said, he doesn't know. We don't own cows as a group. You don't own collectively these assets. The one who has it. The one who doesn't have, doesn't. Now, and the one who has the potential to even protect his cows from a raid. They can hire guards. They can follow up. Now, the one who doesn't, who has little, when it is raided, his life is shattered.
He's gone.
He's gone. So we cannot blame people for dying because they really don't have. The inequality in Uganda, the income inequality
Very high.
is the source of insecurity in Uganda, not only in Karamoja. So we should address it. We have lost it over time, and it's something we should address.
Really look at.
So economically, the Karamoja, the rich men might be few. But they cannot even reach 5% if they exist. And then the majority of the people have to just suffer like that. And it's a common problem even in Uganda. It's known that our economy is run by about 10% of the country. The rest, that is very dangerous. So it's something we have lost over the time.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, the Karamoja before, we had the elders, council of elders, who were respected, who were rich men. They were rich men, they had all the cows they could order this and order that. Now the Karamoja of today is different from that one. Yes, we have elders, but 100% disempowered. In our culture, you are respected based on your wealth. If you have your 1,000 cows, you can speak.
Yeah.
If you don't have, nobody can listen to you. Now, unfortunately, with the disruptions all these years, the elders who used to have too many cows no longer don't have. So the shift of power, for them, those who are supposed to be respected are supposed to guide. That's one thing that has changed over time.
Yeah.
So the Karamoja of today is different. In terms of education, we've had more people who have an education now than we had before. When I was growing up, you could count the number of graduates. Now you don't know. It's my first time to meet my brothers here today. They are also graduates.
Yes.
It's my first time to meet them. In a few years back, like 10 or 20 years, we would know everyone in the whole region who is a graduate.
Yes, we have a graduate there.
We have a graduate. We would know when they are graduating. We'd celebrate one graduation party for the whole region. So there is a difference in terms of the numbers of people who have graduated, who have had an education. Now, the unfortunate thing is, in the past, while we had a few graduates, you would be sure, very sure, 100%, that a graduate has emerged from this sub-county, and that sub-county is sorted. They have somebody who they can rely on. They have somebody. They are elites. They have emerged from the poverty. They have climbed the poverty line. That's not the case now. You have a graduate who has to come back home to rely on this same mother who
paid for his tuition,
who has struggled all the years, because you become a graduate, you can't find a job. That's the difference with the economics we are in now. That's the reality. And you will find a whole parish, a whole sub-county has struggled to educate a child, 17 years, and this son comes back home and sits. That's the Karamoja we have now. So when we talk about education, somebody must really explain the justification for it. Because when they see these graduates who have to be catered for by the same home people, it makes education irrelevant.
Yeah, but that's not a problem with Karamoja. It's actually a problem with the whole Uganda. There are very many graduates who are back at home and they're still eating their parents' food, and at the end of the day it feels like they're reluctant, or it's just the system, or I don't know, there's a problem. Maybe it's an unemployment problem. Ours
is compounded by the fact that the options are limited in terms of the employment opportunities, the market. If you were to do self-employment, the options are limited in terms of going abroad. Do you know that our abroad is Kampala? You have people going abroad to do some work, and they come and bring things. Our abroad is Kampala. So a lot of things have changed over the time.
Okay. Just for the benefit of those who have just joined in, this is Honorable Faith Nakut, who is from Napak district, the woman member of Parliament for Napak district. We're having a conversation on the state of affairs in Karamoja. These two gentlemen who have not yet said a word are also from Karamoja, and they'll be talking to us. I've given emphasis to Honorable because she is going to leave. She has a meeting that is due soon, so I wanted her to give us a comprehensive study of what she thinks the region is and maybe what can be some of the working solutions. I think we're going to cross over to that because
it's because of time.
Yeah, because of time. What could the government do? Because yes, you've sent metric tons of posho and beans, which is a credit to you. But what more do you think your government that you present should do in helping the people of your region?
First of all, there is a correction. It's our government. As the information I know in Uganda,
it is our government, but
we only have one government for now.
Okay.
When Ugandans change eventually, we will also have that one government.
But it's this government you represent. At least for you, you are directly in government. Some of us, it is our government, but it is not our government in the real sense of the word. But let's continue.
There are a lot of things that need to be done. We've had a conversation with the Prime Minister and other ministers and development partners on what needs to be done in the medium term and in the long term. In the short term, food must reach those who need it most. I said earlier that there is inequality. There are those who have and there are those who don't really have. We should be able to trace all those who don't have what they need, and then we provide them the food. So yes, government has put in the 135 billion to feed the people for 3 months.
Okay.
Hopefully, we will have had some harvest for those who something will have done. There is urgent need to develop the livestock economy in the region. I disagree with the idea of changing a livelihood. You can substitute, but not changing. People are not foolish. People are not foolish to choose what they grow. They're not foolish to choose what they do for a living. We can only support them. So the thinking that we want to change everything totally is really wrong. We have cattle keepers in Uganda, not only in Karamoja. What government has done is to support them with what they need to make their livestock herding profitable. So that we have now a region producing milk for the whole country. We have a region producing meat. They cannot run broke. But to say that, okay, now everybody stop adding your cows, go and cultivate maize.
That means you're building from scratch. It's a long shot.
That's really bad. So what I really think should be done, not only by government, by civil society organizations, by all of us people of goodwill, in terms of helping the people of Karamoja first understand the people and then ask them for the solution. So if we import solutions thinking that one size fits all, yes, because cassava can grow everywhere, it must grow here also. Who will eat your cassava? Who will sell it? We will sell to who? And then that idea doesn't work, and it has been the missing link all these years. Yes, partners and government are poured in resources, but the lives of people are not changing that much compared to the amount of resources getting into the region that have been invested. So it's because we are getting a solution for a problem we have not understood.
That is true. Very, very true.
So we should understand. There are some challenges which I would wish to name. Yes, we've recognized low productivity, both livestock and crop. So we need to give resources to those that need, not to those that don't need. There is an idea of restocking. The government has been putting money for restocking programs in Karamoja, but most often those who already have are the ones who get. So tracing those who need is very important to solve the puzzle of the inequality. The region has suffered stereotype. People blaming us for everything.
Literally
everything. To everything. To the extent that even when I rise up to speak up and say, some Ugandans are dying somewhere, they say, why did the MP have to speak? That's what people are saying. So Ugandans need to acknowledge we are here to stay. We are not going to have another country.
It is still your country as well.
It is still our country.
Yeah.
So we should learn to embrace ourselves. And this bias has not left us, the elites of the region. The bias is also on us, to the extent that we think about our tradition as shameful. We think about what we do. Livestock keeping is shameful. We have not even analyzed the economics of it. We just say, no, this is shameful. Because the rest of the country is saying, you are a disgrace to Uganda.
Some people even had the word as we're growing that we shall not wait for Karamoja to devolve.
Of course, the discrimination on Karamoja has not started now.
Yeah.
It started way back. With the colonialists putting a human zoo, pay a visa to go and see human beings that look like this. But how different am I from you now?
You're the same.
Yes, 100%. I am 100% a Karamojong. I can trace my ancestors up to the 7th generation. I am 100% Ugandan. We are the same people. Yeah. So it has caught up with all of us to the point that there are now elites who fear to identify with themselves, with the region. And we keep saying it is a shame. Now, we have an aspect of our children who are begging on the street. They are slaves begging because somebody has hired them out or because conditions at home have chased them to the street to beg. That's not what they would have chosen. But I don't like the narrative when we say, let's remove these children because they are a shame to the city. No, the aspect of shame should not even arise. Let's ask ourselves why these children are here, and then we solve the problem of these children. Why they are here, why they are begging. But if we want to paint a picture, to live a fake life that doesn't exist, to just swag, we want to pretend that it is okay. We want to let's clean the city because of shame. No, I don't want to hear that.
It should be about
solving the problem.
Yes.
It should be about solving the problem. We should be annoyed to say children must not beg. That should
not
be
that
the
it's a shame.
Not that it's a shame.
Honorable, I want to put you on the spot because it's time we go for a break. But before we do that, it feels like disappointed you are just started. Sorry, but I want to also pick your mind on the insecurity that is happening there. There is cattle rustling that has happened over time, but then there is an individual, the first son of the president, who doubles as commander land forces, who said in a clear tweet that he is bringing hell to Karamoja. Those were the words he used. Some people have, through this background, said that it may be the government that has actually even brought more insecurity than actually solving the insecurity problem. What is your comment on the war that has been happening there and how many people have actually been treated in Karamoja?
The war is really bad. The delay to respond has costed us a lot more. By the time we saw the real response that we expected, we had already lost more than 3,000 lives and over 200,000 cows. You multiply how much money is that for a region like that one? So to arrive at a situation where our people are now dying is largely because we lost a big chunk of assets to insecurity. So I don't want to respond to a tweet because a tweet, somebody can deny it. I can respond to something very authentic. So to believe in the tweet that I am bringing hell, I don't want to believe it.
But many people have really felt the hell that has been brought by the security operatives. Don't you want to agree with me?
Well, no, first of all, it was us, the leaders, who demanded government to respond to the security problem. 2019, insecurity started creeping in, with our neighbors coming to steal, to bring, because they had their guns. Ours had been taken away during the disarmament of 2007.
Yes.
2020, we asked again, we don't want these guns here. Our people don't know how to handle guns. So if they have their guns to protect themselves, there is a likelihood that they will use it to disenfranchise the weak people. So it's us who demanded that government should respond, deploy more troops so that criminality is eliminated from the region. So it would be wrong for me to say that, that government sent in troops by accident. No, the leaders of Karamoja demanded for security presence in the region.
But has that security helped the people, or it has actually breeded more challenges to the people? Is it a solution, or it has created more problems?
It is partly a solution.
Partly.
Yes, it is partly a solution because now we have those criminal elements who had their guns, who wanted to use them. They cannot use them. But we also have some people who were robbed. They lost all their livestock and it was not traced. So they are desperate. They want help and they cannot be helped. So that's the mix we are in now. We, as the leadership of Karamoja, the Karamoja Parliamentary Group, are asking government to compensate those who have lost everything to this insecurity, because there was a contract. There was an agreement during the previous disarmament exercise that our people would hand in all the guns, and then government would protect them. The beauty of protection.
That was the deal.
That was the deal, which was unfortunately broken. I raised it in Parliament, and Parliament passed a resolution that government would take action to protect lives and property of the people. That is what we are pursuing now.
But it is the same government that has been accused of, instead of bringing back the cattle they have rescued, there is a way the cattle disappears on the way back, because they have actually gone and they have brought back the cattle that has been raided. But after, the cattle has not been returned to the people of Karamoja, the people who were stolen from. At the end of the day, where is this cattle disappearing from? Yet it is government who's responsible for rescuing it.
You see, the way livestock recovery happens, it's different. And the way these raids now are happening are different from the way they were happening previously. Now it's more commercialized. Okay. By the time a raid happens with the mobile phones, these criminals are too smart.
Yes.
They are difficult to trace. Only intelligence network can manage them. By the time a raid happens, they have already called the businessmen. They have called trucks. Cows, the footsteps, the footmarks disappear as you find a road. As you find a road, you cannot trace your cows. So the idea of recovery is not working. That's the truth. It's not working. So what we really want government to do is to prevent a raid from happening.
Okay.
Prevent a raid from happening, pursue those criminals and remove their guns so that doesn't happen. The idea of recovery, it can't happen.
Okay.
Yes.
Honorable, before you give us your parting shots, I want to these two gentlemen to introduce themselves before we go for a break. I'm going to start with you, Charles Donaldson Ogira. Who is Charles Donaldson Ogira?
Thank you so much, Edgar. I'm Charles Donaldson Ogira. I'm a grassroots human rights defender. Okay. I run a civil society organization called Youth Forum for Social Justice, a grassroots human rights defenders organization demonstrating grassroots mechanisms of responding to grassroots human rights defenders protection in the region.
Okay. Yeah. Is it only protecting human rights defenders?
We partly work to promote human rights and upscale grassroots human rights defenders on digital security, digital advocacy. Okay. Yeah.
That's where the Karamoja Converse Series comes in.
Karamoja Converse Series is a new child, I would say. It's a civic tech advocacy platform. We felt we needed to give life to it, given the fact that the voices of young people, not only, but the voices of people from Karamoja are not being heard. So it's like a platform we felt we should give birth to cascade grassroots voices a notch higher so that we can be in position to respond to most of the dire questions or the needs of people from Karamoja.
Okay, thank you, Charles. Sisto, Rwot, Omio,
Thank
please
you.
Introduce yourself to them.
Thank you. My name is Rwot Omio Sisto. Professionally, I'm a medical personnel.
Okay.
And of course, the co-founder of Karamoja Converse Series. As Donald said, basically the series, we thought about a platform where the young people could sit and then we share ideas, because the mainstream media has never involved me in anything. Yet I am passionate about Karamoja. So for me to be able to have space to talk, I have to create it for myself.
Yes.
And for all the other youth that actually want to share their ideas, they want to talk about the issues of Karamoja. So basically, that is Sisto. And then, of course, I believe that as the youth, we need to take up responsibility. We like for Africa, we have an agenda, Africa Agenda 2063, that I feel the youth have to take up. So I still feel the Digitalk could also, give us still the space, since the mainstream media is not considered.
Most definitely. That's why we have you this particular morning. Honorable, in just a minute, I want you to give us your parting shots and your last message for the people who are watching you today.
Okay. My message is, the problem in Karamoja is our problem as a people of Uganda. What I would wish to urge the people, especially within Karamoja, let's be our brother's keeper. Let's be supportive to each other. And then let's own up our challenge. We have lots of problems. I didn't manage to explain them.
These two gentlemen.
They will explain. They will explain land disputes, the issues of employment, unemployment, issues of trade, issues of education. We have too many problems. Now, let's own them up. The idea of looking for somebody whom we can blame for our problem shouldn't even arise. Let's own up our problem and let's also speak up. Let's speak up so that people of goodwill can be supportive. That is my message. This will end. This will end. The famine of 1990 and 80 ended. We survived. I am one of the survivors. of 1991 ended. We survived. 2007 it ended. We survived. We will survive this one.
All right. There's a gentleman who says Chijakubwa. It will end. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Now it's time we're going for a short commercial break. When we come back, we're starting a conversation with these two gentlemen to tell us what is actually the facts, what is happening in Karamoja, and maybe what could be some of the working solutions. Don't forget that In the next hour, you'll be able to call in live, and I'll be able to read some of your messages that are coming through on social media. There are a couple of messages that are coming through. Thank you so much. You can continue, sending in those questions. Ask the different people here, and we shall be answering those questions for you. Let's go for a short commercial break. In just a minute, we'll be right back.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
How you beautiful Ugandans, it's your girl Sisto. Welcome to the fancy floor. Who doesn't see my hair, guys? I am super glamorous. Remember, this is the only show where we're going to be talking about fashion.
Please, where are you think? Teaching.
What has been confusing you about fashion? Sorry, you said I should not smile. For all the information about fashion, maintenance of body shape,
I can wear bling bling when I'm going out. So you can wear bling bling going out or any occasion.
we shall be doing all this in the fancy floor. Remember, it airs every Thursday right from 8:30 to 9 with your girl, Sisto. It is the fancy floor. You have got to get up pretty early to go do something. We are the alternative Digitalk. With our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
We President Museveni wadde juzi namulaba apima akawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bwaba alya kilo 5 oyannema okuliisa eggwanga ne bwe limundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the alternative Digitalk etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugendo maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop and smart TVs as we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the alternative Digitalk.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Digitalk TV. The name of the show is the Mighty Drive show that airs every Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We are having a discussion today on what is happening in Karamoja, the state of Karamoja affairs today. And in the first hour, we had Honorable Faith Nakut, who is the woman member of parliament for Napak district, telling us her perspective in terms of a legislator, what she thinks of what is happening in the country today or in that particular region today. Now it's time we go join the discussion with these two gentlemen, Charles and Mr. Sisto. That we want to find out really, because I don't even want to waste more time. Let's go straight to the discussion. What is happening? How did we get to where we are today? Charles, I'll start with you.
Thank you very much, Edgar. I would say that since the colonial periods,
yes,
Karamoja were already practicing pastoralism, or before the colonial periods. Karamojongs identify as nomadic pastoralists. And this is where the whole question of Karamoja came from.
Yeah.
One, we saw government policies come in place that are anti-pastoralism.
Okay.
And policies that dissociate people from their cultural way of life, that dissociate them from their social norms. And this is where we saw the herders losing their cattle adding grounds where they graze their animals.
Okay.
To national parks, to buffer zones, to boundaries, and so forth in that colonial period. Of course, there is no single government that has ever appreciated the fact that Karamojongs are pastoralists and they need to be respected by their way of cultural beliefs and by their way of identity.
Yes.
You know, when you deprive a person or when you deprive a people of their cultural identity, you'll have deprived them of their cultural rights.
Yes.
And this is something that has always taken shape in the region, where the cattle keepers could graze in large chunks of land before the boundaries of Kenya and Sudan. Before the demarcation,
the colonial demarcations
came in place.
Yes,
these people the people of Karamoja used to, because of their way of pastoralism, they used to move from one place to another.
They traverse.
So when the demarcation and the boundaries came in place,
yes,
you find that South Sudan claimed part of the lands that these people used to graze from.
Okay.
Kenya, northern Kenya, claimed part of the lands that these people used to graze from.
Yes.
And it brought in a lot of conflict, and there has never been any single policy by any government that has been in place to ensure that they appreciate our way of life.
Karamojongs and who they are.
And who they are.
Yes.
Additionally, we also saw several civil wars where Karamojongs took part in, like in the Obote 1, Obote 2. Many Karamojongs were recruited by the Okello Lutua. You know, there has been I would say a tribal a tribal conflict between Langi and Acholi.
Yes.
So the Karamojong who could identify with the Acholi or with the Langi were recruited in some of these conflicts.
Yeah.
So when the Okello Lutua and there's another guy called Brasilio, something of that.
Basilio.
Yeah, he has a very unique name.
Very unique.
Yeah. So when they were fighting Obote government, or when they were fighting to identify themselves, the Karamojongs helped them. And this is where they were able to acquire guns from, all the old guns that they were able to acquire. And then there was also war in Sudan, the SPLA war, where some of the Karamojongs also took part.
Yes, they have been recruited there.
And they came back home with some of these guns. And because they identify with the pastoralism and they need a weapon for protection, they use these guns purely to protect their animals from external and internal aggressors.
Yes.
Like the Turukana could always invade
and still
the Madaniko, the Dodoth, the Jie, so that they can drive away their cattle. This is where these are some of the history that they do not want us to talk about, but this is how the issues in Karamoja at the moment came about. with which if the government put in place policies that accepts the way of our life, it would be very important. Yes. Now, by the fact that they've erected game parks, which of course we cannot say we are against game parks,
yes,
but it deprives people of land for them to be in position to graze their cattle. Thank you so much for now.
Okay. Now I'm going to cross over to you, Sisto. Sisto, the problem of starvation, he has given us the evolution of where we came from. But today, we are facing a problem of insecurity, we are facing a problem of starvation and hunger, and as you've heard from the Honorable Member of Parliament, and also you know very well that many people are dying. Yesterday, an article was published showing that hunger has killed over 900 people. Where has this starvation come from? And maybe, how do we deal with it? Where are we right now? In fact, you can even paint for us a vivid picture of what it means for someone to actually starve to death. Because for people who are here, and I feel like this is a discussion not many people have given time, people who are here are comfortable in the central and maybe in other regions. But Karamoja feels isolated, that people are dying of hunger. And for someone to die of hunger, that means it has taken time, right? The person does not die in one day or two. No, it is something that has taken time for someone to die of hunger. To what extent are people suffering in Karamoja today?
Thank you, Edgar,
yes,
for this opportunity. Well, I think we need to take the conversation on, as you have asked.
Yes.
The topic was very clear, that, we are rich, but we are robbed.
Yes.
Let me take you down memory lane.
Okay.
When we started the Converse Series, Karamoja Converse Series, of course we had the first session where we were asking the question of the food security in Karamoja. The second question we asked in the series was about human rights abuse in the wake of disarmament. Last week, we had a very interesting discussion on who actually benefits from the minerals of Karamoja.
Thank you.
Now, given the discussion, and the discussion has helped me actually connect with a lot of people. After the conversation, they usually come to my inbox, they call me, and we have a chat.
Yeah.
Let me go back in history. There was a man in South Africa called Steve Biko.
Yes, Steve Biko.
The black. He told the black people that if you actually want to, liberate yourselves, achieve your potential, it's not about the white man. It's about we, the black people, to do the right thing for ourselves. And that message should resonate. Now, I'm going to break down the problems of Karamoja to three. The first one is there is a saying that if the youth of a place remain in a constant state of slumber, that place will never realize its full potential. It will never. Now, having said that point, let me break it down, then I go to the next point. When you go to Karamoja today, the youth are totally asleep. If you talk about the elites of Karamoja, no one wants to talk about the real issues of Karamoja. Because for a moment, people want to make everything political. Okay?
Yes.
When we are saying there is food insecurity, someone feels, when I say there is no food in Karamoja, it's political.
But it's actually a fact.
It's a fact that we have to hold actually people responsible, because I go and line up to actually vote leaders even when I'm not a politician.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the people of Karamoja and the elites, for example, are quiet. The youth of Karamoja are useless. Let me use that word for the...
Useless is a big word.
It's for lack of a better word. The youth of Karamoja don't sit down to discuss the real issues of Karamoja. But when you call them that let's organize for parties, well, they are there. They are the ones who want to show that we party the most.
But they are
you will have a
the
full
most.
house. But when I am to today call a meeting and say, let us come and discuss the issue of the food insecurity in Karamoja, none will show up. Okay?
Yes.
Now, how will a society that has that kind of youth really develop? That's why I'm calling them useless. We need to sit down and start having conversation as the youth. So the youth of Karamoja are in slumber, they are comfortable, yet they are actually suffering.
But why should they be comfortable? Because it feels That they are feeling the pinch.
They are feeling the pinch, but you see, there is a saying that sometimes when you go, you can go to school, but school does not go through you. You can go through school. I expect that the youth, that was my expectation, that when the youth of Karamoja actually come to school, come to Central Region, which is our abroad, they're actually supposed to, see what is happening here, we replicate it, and go
and take it home.
Take it home.
To work at home.
Now, funny enough, the other, on Wednesday, our conversation is every Wednesday. When we ask the question, who benefits from the minerals of Karamoja? Surprisingly, we did not actually get an answer of who benefits, but we appreciated the fact that minerals are taken out worth millions from Karamoja. Now, who is supposed to actually come out and say that this is happening? The youth are not there. Yet they used to tell us we are the leaders of tomorrow, and that tomorrow is today, when we are supposed to own up, and then nothing is happening. Okay?
Yes, please.
When you look at the issue of the disarmament, there is a lot of human right abuse. There is a lady who was beaten because she did not, she could not say whether her husband has a gun or not, because maybe she did not know. But no one talks about it because they consider it political. But as people, we should take responsibility of how our home runs. Number two, there is a saying that if you think education is expensive,
try ignorance.
Try ignorance. Karamoja has paid the real meaning of that word.
Ignorance.
Because our people are ignorant, they have been taken advantage of so much. That's why they are exploited as much, because they don't know, for example, their rights. They just feel, they are actually being done a favor to go and even work in the fields where minerals are. They don't know that they have, they are called royalties. They have to get royalties, surface right compensation.
In fact, there is a percentage that has to come from the profits of those things to the region.
But because the people are ignorant, we are paying that price. Unfortunately, it goes back to my first point, that the people who are the youth who are actually supposed to, raise up these issues are quiet.
Okay.
The third point that actually brought us to where we are is governance. I work with
governance
as a whole, which also entails government. I work with the district youth chairperson, Abim, who is actually one of the biggest leaders who is advocating for whatever is happening in Karamoja now. He is the National Unity Platform coordinator, Karamoja, but in the election, he actually stood as an independent candidate. Okay? Now, this is what happens. Whenever he stands out to do anything for the people, not minding about the party, the first thing they do is, from which party is he coming from?
They are aligning him to a political affiliation. Yet he is trying to have a problem that is up, because any NRM candidate of NUP or what are all facing the same challenge.
So my point is, whenever elections are done, we say politics is done, parties are done. Let's start talking service delivery. And so when someone comes and they disagree with you with political ideology, and they come out to serve the people, you are still bringing party politics in service? I hate that. When it's time for service, let's go and work for the people. And that is one thing eating up Karamoja. During politics, I participated. Okay?
Yes, please.
Of course, these are my thoughts as a Ugandan.
Disclaimer.
So I hope it does not anyway affect any of my, involvements in any other thing. But I feel we should have real conversations. I participated in the politics. But during politics, service to the people was tailored to a political party.
Yes.
Okay? Which is very wrong. And now, when food was sent to Karamoja, it was very funny. A day to food being sent, that they had actually already stolen the food. Okay? I think you saw the news. The question is, I have a problem with governance that in Uganda today, even the wrong thing has been made right. And no one actually holds anyone accountable. Today, if I asked that people are actually dying in Karamoja, food was stolen. was anyone arrested for stealing from the hungry?
Nobody.
Nobody. Okay? Because it is a kind of government where there is a lot of compromises. I don't know why the government has really decided to compromise a lot. But that is what is happening.
Okay.
So when Karamoja suffers today, I don't want to blame the outside people.
Yes.
I want to blame ourselves. I want to blame the elites of Karamoja for keeping people in, a state of ignorance. I want to blame the youth of Karamoja. For actually, the other day I attended a function, and the MPs of Karamoja, let me make this point. They are the people, I don't know, but whenever there is a social gathering, they want to saunter to the front seats. And they're even given chance to speak. And sometimes when I listen to them, I really look at them and say, I feel ashamed, and I'm like, this is where we are. Okay. Because when you call, they practice a lot of what we call handout politics in Karamoja. Okay? Handout politics. So that it's not about building policies, structures that work for people, but let me give so that the next time they vote for me. Their politics is not about planning for the next generation, but for the next general election.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Sisto. Now, just to give you a comment from a gentleman called Conrad Leonard. Yes. He says, great work, Mr. Sisto. This is great. You are destined for success. Someone is blessing you. Ladies and gentlemen, just at 1 minute past the top of the hour, we have a couple of minutes to end the show. And I have two gentlemen from the Youth Forum for Justice, for Social Justice. And that is Mr. Charles Donaldson Ogira and Sisto Rwot Omio, to just tell us what is actually happening in Karamoja. Now I'm going to go to you, Mr. Charles. Just paint a picture for us. You've talked about the minerals. These minerals, first of all, what do we have in Karamoja? And who are these people that the government does not know, that the people don't know, but are just disappearing with the wealth? Karamojans are not gaining from what is rightfully theirs. It was endowed under their land. It is theirs. Yes.
Thank you so much, Edgar. You know, when you talk about minerals in Karamoja, it should first evoke some
sentiment.
Karamoja has robust mineral rich. It has more than 50 different types of minerals, from gold to uranium to cobalt, among others. Yes. But then you find that much as we have regulations or policies that regulate the operation or the extraction of some of these minerals, you find that the real extraction processes are not considered. Yeah. Because one, for a company to exploit mineral, it has to be licensed, and their license, and most of these companies that operate in Karamoja, either their license has expired 3 years ago or 5 years ago, but you find I would call bandits come use them to go and exploit minerals in Karamoja. We have Tororo Cement, that is the largest company exploiting minerals in Karamoja. Arguably, if the government of Uganda was right, or in their rightful senses, they would take a factory, a cement factory in Karamoja. But you don't see something like that.
It's not there.
Secondly, we see every day in, out, several trucks. In an hour, more than 5 trucks will be ferrying either cobalt or any other type of mineral from Karamoja. Yeah. But we do not have a weighing bridge that can help us get resources or taxes that can trickle to the advantage of the local people. Yeah. These are the hard questions that we must ask ourselves as locals from Karamoja and as concerned citizens. What is it that we have not done to ensure that the minerals rich region benefits absolutely from these minerals?
From the minerals themselves, yes.
Still, we have several natural resource rights activists in the region. But my brother, I will be open to tell you that the state operatives have always held a knife on their voices. You speak up, you become a potential target for a death threat. You speak up, you become a potential target to any form of dissociation, or your family will be a target to any form of dissociation, whereby they will never associate your family to any government benefits because you have a son or you have a daughter who speaks up
about what is actually happening
about a region that is underprivileged.
Yes.
So these are some of the things that I feel we should devise a proactive mechanisms. We must document more voices of young people in Karamoja. Not only we must work liaise with every stakeholder for the better of Karamoja.
And we also have to listen to Karamojans. I feel like people have not listened very well to what is happening. I have not given Karamoja space to actually talk about what is happening in their region.
Edgar, you know, I am also a poet. A few days ago, I wrote a poem entitled Unheard Voices. If you will have time to go through that poem, you will get a clear picture of what we are talking about.
Okay.
The people are becoming poorer, yet the government, through companies, are exploiting minerals from Karamoja.
Yes.
And on top of exploiting minerals from Karamoja, they're excessively violating the rights of people. The surface rights are not catered for. The people who own land in some of these mineral-rich areas are deprived of their land, either forcefully or through tricks.
Okay.
Where the government says, through local leaders, they come and say, we want to create an institution in this place. And then 2, 3, 5 years, you don't get anything like that in existence. It has not yet been commissioned that it is going to take place, or no plan has been put in place to ensure that what they are really talking about is implemented.
Okay.
There's a sub-county called Rwot sub-county. It is the richest haven of minerals in Karamoja. If you are to go and see the livelihood of people there, you will be shocked that young children are used. Okay, let me first stem this properly. That we have artisanal miners.
Okay.
We have various mining groups that are from the region, who I would say act as middlemen. But then you find that most of these companies exploit these people. They fight for these spaces. And you find the government take army to go and guard some of these mineral exploitation sites. In Rwot, if we are to go now, you will get a Sunbelt company that is being guarded
by security operatives.
People who are supposed to protect the rights of people, people who are supposed to ensure that they respond rapidly to the insecurity issues. If you hear there is a raid there, you should respond. They are there guarding minerals, or they are guarding exploitation.
Do you even know the owners of those companies that are taking out the minerals?
I just said we have Sunbelt, one of the biggest company that is exploiting. I think second to Tororo Cement, or it might even be top of Tororo Cement. They might be on top of the game. We know that they are there.
But who are the owners of those companies?
The challenge comes
because
to
those
knowing the owners of these companies.
Yeah, that's the problem. You'll never know the owners.
You'll never know the owners of these companies. And then if I also tell you that there is a marijuana farm that is erect in Napak, and it is alleged having been owned by one of the top guys in the government.
Yeah, who we all know, but let's continue.
We don't know, but the allegation, that's it. There's a marijuana farm that is in Napak, in Moroto district, that is owned by a top
big
shot in the government. And they're highly protected areas because these places have good minerals. They go and grab it from people and erect their businesses so that they can, in one way or the other, be also exploiting the minerals that exist within such areas.
Okay.
So that and then no one questions, because you question, your mouth will be shut.
That's the truth. Let's just stop. Let me stop you from there. I have Tumuhimbi Senoman, who is watching. Thank you so much. JJ Opoka, he's called Opoka JJ. He's also watching. Thank you. Then there is Paul Loti Komol. He's also watching the show right now. I have Mr. Amans Willie Daniel. Tabo Chero, then there is Oduk Tolit, Ambrose Ahmed, Ernest Adome. All of you are watching. Thank you so much for watching the show. Ashura, she says she's live from Kapchora. Good morning, my people over there. Then there is Jemba Rover Jr., who is also watching the show. Mr. Omio, I'm going to cross over to you, and now I'm going to pose a very, very not easy question for some people to say. Let's talk about the insecurity in that region. We've been having and listening about the cattle rustling that is going on, the raids that go on. Yes, they may be there. But then there is a gentleman who I told you in the first hour promised to bring hell to Karamoja. And many people have said they have actually felt the hell. But the question is, to what extent is the insecurity there? We saw some images that I want to put a disclaimer to them. I'm not sure if they are coming from the region, but people's manyatas had been, burnt down. People had been cut in pieces, something that is really, really so shaming. To what extent is the insecurity crisis in Karamoja?
Thank you. You see, the issue of security. I'm a civilian. I cannot go because security operatives always have their, codes of security and how they handle their things. But the extent of insecurity, I can say my grandmother's goats actually survived. I think they were stolen, and then as these people were moving, they came into an ambush. That is how the goats came back. But of course, the insecurity, I was there in 2006,
yes,
when there was the disarmament. Actually, I have the husband to my aunt, who was a soldier then, he forcefully resigned from the army because the kind of force they put on the people, he said he could not recover from the trauma. So he came back. It was
too much.
It was too much. No one agrees with insecurity in Karamoja. Okay, personally, sometimes I sit down and think, I was like, how did I survive? Because I've ever been, there was a time we were going to Kotido, and someone was shot right in front of us. And unfortunately, they were going for a wedding that very day. So I was thinking, how did the wedding actually, how did the day go? And I think it was one of the organizers of the wedding. So insecurity is something none of us want. I want a peaceful Karamoja. Actually, Karamoja, before this insecurity and after the other disarmament, was very peaceful. We used to ride bicycles from Abim to Kotido. You could go anywhere. I think that is an environment where all of us wish, okay? But as you can, for all the discussions you have had, the insecurity of Karamoja, and if you watched the clip of Sam Muse who was telling the president, that it is not only about the Karamojongs raiding anymore, but it has also come that the allegations that already the security personnel are also in the deal because, as the Honorable also agreed, it has been commercialized. So that when cows are stolen from these poor people, they actually sold and people make money. But the issue of insecurity of Karamoja takes us back to the disarmament. That the government that deals with the people. That one thing, when you give up your guns, we are going to protect you.
That was the deal.
That was a deal. But later on, you will agree with me that the Turkana in Kenya, who are actually our neighbors, okay, cross over and come and raid. Okay? If you go and interact with a common man, they will tell you that their animals were disappearing without explanation to where they went. So these people decided that since we cannot be protected, let's protect ourselves because we are men enough.
Because that's how they have been used to protecting themselves.
Secondly, the levels of poverty in Karamoja increased. So people having acquired guns, having lost cattle, had to restock. Okay?
Yes.
So we had these insecurities. And now, these people get so funny that when they go, because they know when they are caught, they are killed. Whenever you come across their way, they don't leave you. And within Karamoja, let us agree that there are a bit of disagreements. Because we have the GA, within Karamoja we have clans that also disagree amongst themselves. So that is how now the insecurity crippled in. But I still feel the real problem of Karamoja was not tackled. That is why the issue came back. After the disarmament, if we protected these people's animals, we would have had a more peaceful Karamoja. If we had given these people, when you read the NRM manifesto, it talks about, industrialization. Actually, Moroto has an industrial park. But we don't have industries. We have minerals. We have marble. We have limestone. Why can't we put industries and employ people so that at a time, let us say, when they can actually make money to buy food and eat? Okay?
To improve themselves.
The problem of Karamoja is it's a tree, but they want to uproot it by slashing off the leaves, not plucking it down from the roots. And that takes me to the point that you see, the problem with Karamoja is that when you look at the leaders, I was giving you a point that they are in the business of politics of, handouts. Karamoja has to sit down and restructure themselves. I always tell people, when you go to a Acholi sub-region, they have an agenda as the Acholis, that after some time, we should be here as the people. When you go to Lango sub-region, Karamoja doesn't have an agenda. We don't know where we are going. We have a ministry. If you go to the ministry now and ask them, okay, what is the roadmap? Okay? What is the roadmap? Where are we following? In the next 5 years as a ministry, what must you have achieved? I stand to be corrected, but I don't see that happening.
Okay.
The other time I engaged honorable members, they are not cooperative. When you call them and say, honorable, we want to sit with you and have this discussion. But because of the politics of handouts, they feel whenever we sit, I have to give them money.
You want transport from the legislature.
I just want us to sit. I expect the Karamoja leaders to engage individuals on discussing the issue of having a longer plan, a long-term plan on food security, on security, on infrastructure development, so that through the ministry of Karamoja, through the parliamentary caucus, we have what we can use to engage the government, that in your manifesto we have roads that have to be tarmacked. We can follow that up. In the bid to have sustainable food security, this is our strategies. That is what I expect. But that is not happening. The ministry of Karamoja now acts like a ministry for preparedness and disaster. Because it is only active when there is disaster. Then they come and say,
there are no fundamental policies that are put ahead.
Yes. Just to, as we conclude, I fear for Karamoja still, because in the next 3 months, the population is big. People will not keep donating every time.
Yes.
Okay?
That is a solution.
We have an economic, we have an ecosystem that has been destroyed. I think there was a time Charles was exposing the people who are actually cutting down trees on already an ecosystem that is a semi-arid. You're already cutting
down the trees.
He ran. I think he was threatened and he disappeared from the district for almost a year. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So we are saying, as Karamoja, let's sit, discuss, have an agenda that we can use to hold government responsible on having sustainable and long-term plans for Karamoja, having recognized that we are already a marginalized group, and the only way we can, get into the programs of the government is that we must be, active, we must be assertive, and I really thank the Digitalk for giving us this platform. The issues of Karamoja are never discussed.
Yes.
When Mao signs a cooperation with the government,
that one will be discussed
for a month.
Allow me, Mr. Omio, just interject you from there and read a couple of messages from Ugandans. Now, this is Mr. Ivan Owili, who says, great work, Charles Donaldson and Otizen Sisto. Then we have a gentleman called Local Paul Olympic. Thanks for the show. You're welcome, Mr. Paul, for watching as well. Then we have Alan Osama, who says, well done, Osita on the T's. Proud of you too. Thank you so much. Now, you can also get the chance to call in live The number is 0789-017-145. You can also call us on the Airtel, which is 0759-13-2310. 0789-017-145. You can call in live and ask these two gentlemen any question that you want them to answer, and they'll be in a position to answer them for you. Now, I'm going to start with you, Charles. We have talked about the challenges that are affecting your region and Karamoja as a whole. The question is, what could be some of the solutions? What is the role of the Karamojongs themselves in developing their land? What is the role of government? And maybe you, as someone who has really followed what has been happening in the region, what do you think should be done at this point in time? Because as Omio has put it out, it is not actually sustainable to be giving people food. Yes, you will give them the metric tons of posho and maize and beans, but what next? Because the time will come when you cannot give them the posho anymore.
Well, thank you, Edgar. You know, Karamoja is already an illiterate community.
Yes.
To me, I feel one of the strategies that the government should put in place with all other actors, you know, we shouldn't leave it on the side of the government alone, yes, because they will fail. One, we should conduct more civic education in Karamoja.
Yes.
For young people, or for the generation to come, to realize their stake in the governance of their society. Because it is until some of these things are done, the mindset of the locals in my region, Karamoja, will never be reawakened. And through the civic education, we'll be in position to hear a lot, give us their stories. We will be in position to hear a lot, hold the government, all the state actors, the duty bearers, accountable to their needs. Secondly, the government of Uganda is obliged with the tripartite obligations to protect, fulfill, and respect the rights of people. I feel the government should put in place mechanisms that respond directly to the protection of people from Karamoja.
Yes.
We have a human rights-based approach at play that we all know is a policy, a government policy. But is it being applied? If we still do a rapid response charity approach to crisis, what more will we expect if the crisis reoccurs? To me, I feel if the government gets to understand the issues that the people face, they tackle it from down, a bottom-up approach.
Yes.
To these issues, we will be in position to respond to some of these issues. Karamoja, they say, does not have water. I would argue that Karamoja has water. You heard Honorable on Faith Nakut say we were stormed by flood. If only we could have a reservoir, a water reservoir option, where we can collect this water when the season, when the region is drying out, people are able to take the animals to graze.
Yes.
People are able to use this water for irrigation, small scale irrigation schemes.
Okay.
Secondly, I feel the local people themselves must wake up to begin doing the things they have never done. I mean, a robust approach to ensuring that they respond to their own issues.
Okay.
Because I will fund a fund drive. I will run a fund drive for 2-3 weeks.
Yes.
And I get like 5 million, but I will not be in position to serve the more than 21 million people in the region. How about if we say, come on, let's structure ourselves in these groups. Okay, there are these groups that are existing. But the problem is it has also been politicized.
Yes.
There is no single initiative that a Karamojong can push without it being, without you, who is the runner, being taken for a politician or for the next
aspiring.
There's no initiative. And these are the mindset we must really what?
This is a typical African narrative. That's what they always think.
Yeah, this is a mindset we must cut.
Okay.
Because if we don't deal with such, we will really fail.
Okay.
Secondly, we need more.
As you conclude, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we have like a few minutes.
Great. We need advocacy and lobbying programs, which stems from the grassroots to the top. Most of the people in Karamoja do not know of the budget processes.
Yeah, by the way. Not only in Karamoja, most Ugandans don't know.
The project has failed in Karamoja.
Yes.
So we need a bottom-up approach. And by the way, in this bottom-up approach, which we actually need a multi-sectoral programs for Karamoja to thrive again, where we have a component of psychosocial support, mental, which of course tackles the mental issues. People are already suffering from trauma, and it could be something that is killing them. So we need programs that responds to their mental health. We need programs that, transitions people from the injustices they have faced. Do not just disarm me. Give me an option for livelihood, and put my mind in a state. Put my mind in a state that will make me be in position to thrive even after the crisis.
Charles, I'm going to first pause you from there. Charles Donaldson, Ogira, he is the team lead at Youth Forum for Social Justice that is in Karamoja. Now I have a couple of messages here. There is a gentleman called Lower Len Daniel. He says we need more of this to discuss sustainable way forward. Looking forward to the next show. You're welcome, Mr. Daniel. Then Tabu Daniel also says, namesake, he says, if only the Karamajongs could realize their potential, the rest will be history. We are humiliated and manipulated because we don't know who we are. And he says, well done, Charles. Well done, Sisto and Charles. Then there's a gentleman called Jemix Pro who's watching. Omio, I'm going to come to you in just a minute or two. Please tell me what could be your working solutions as we come to the end of this discussion.
Thank you. I think the working solutions of Karamoja is that, one, we have agreed that the people are ignorant. I would agree with Charles. That we need to, as the people, start waking up. The second thing, I think the people of Karamoja have to start holding these leaders accountable. I always tell the people of Karamoja that our leaders are the most grossly incompetent. And I want to say this without fear of contradiction. Our leaders have shown gross incompetence, so that even in the floor of parliament, we don't hear them saying out issues of Karamoja. They started speaking when the food issues arose, but they don't hold the country. This is incompetence. Unfortunately, the people don't hold them accountable. So I want to tell our people that these people represent us, and so as the people, we have to hold them accountable. And we need to, as the people, of course, realize ourselves and our potential. And I'm sure, I want to tell people that Karamoja will be great, and it will be great again. Thank you so much.
All right, great and great again. In just 20 seconds, Mr. Charles Donaldson Ogira, first of all, it has been a pleasure having you on the show. And you've talked about some things that many Ugandans have not been knowing about. So thank you so much for honoring our invitation, and you, Mr. Rwot. So in just 30 seconds, your parting shots, Mr. Charles.
Thank you. Our dear people, we need more of our voices to the world. It is only and only if we speak that we'll be in position to find mechanisms of responding to our problems. The more we keep quiet, the more we shall have this crisis reoccur. The more we shall fail, we shall have leadership or elect leaders that will fail, but they will always come and give us handouts for us to vote them back. You know, let me put this clearly. There was a WhatsApp conversation I had from Karamoja Hardcore Politics. It's one of the WhatsApp group that is really awakening up minds of people. There was a conversation that a very hot conversation where one person did say that the MPs of Karamoja, you know, they have a Karamoja parliamentary group. And this is where they should be, they should come together to discuss issues of importance that pertains to Karamoja. But one person said in a mockery way that the leaders of Karamoja goes to a bar to discuss issues of the region. The following day when they go to the floor of parliament, they're either dozing or they don't have a thing to say.
All right. I'm going to stop you there because that sums it up. Sisto Rwot, who is also the co-founder of Karamoja Converse Series, thank you for such a very good innovation that is amplifying the voices of Karamoja. Your parting shots in 20 seconds.
Thank you so much. I want to tell my people of Karamoja, let's stop politicizing everything. let's start working for the betterment of the region, because in governance we have social, economical, and political. So let's stop politicizing everything, and let's work and make the region a better place. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now let me read one last message as we come to the end of the discussion. This one is from a gentleman called Conrad Leonard, who said, I agree 100%, and I'm hoping Karamoja can get better. Keep sensitizing people, all will get better. Thank you so much for the show. You're welcome. Then Kiyonga Peter says this region needs to identify what they want other government forcing intervention on them, other than government forcing intervention on them, something which resulted to the very methods tried and it failed. Secondly, resources in the region should be used to develop the region and the people than transporting the processing in other regions. The industries could boost economic activities, business and employment, and it will help change the mindset of from pastoral to other productive activities. Multi-million and billion irrigation schemes to be established. This thing government knows, but there is deliberate intentions to deny Karamoja all this. Innocent Aidombrona is also watching. Thank you so much. At exactly 9 a.m., we've come to the end of the discussion. Tonight, we're going to be having the hotline show by Abdallah Tif, and Mukasa is going to be right there at 7 p.m. Don't miss the discussion right there. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. I was with Charles Donaldson Ogira, who is the team leader at Youth Forum for Social Justice, and Mr. Sisto Rwot Omio, who is a co-founder at Karamoja Tech Series. My name is Edgar. It's time we come to the end of the show. Enjoy your morning. Good morning.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.